2. I don't know. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. It landed 10 out of 14 times on the completely red side.
We're gonna add the concept of potency to our concept now that I've woken up. Not sure what that's gonna do, but that's what we're doing. What I thought about while sleeping, I guess, is that you can kind of make computers with weight change, in the sense that it creates a binary bit where one is lighter, one is heavier, and you can change it with that. I'm not going to spend the rest of the week building a computer when I have no idea how computing works, but I do know that you could make the basic bits, and you could use uncertainty or controlled uncertainty for the conditionals and stuff. So you could make something like a computer without it, but it would be really long because you'd need a lot of room for the stuff to fall and stuff, and I've tried building it up before. It's complicated. But we are going to do something with a similar concept, like maybe building smaller technology and objects out of weight-based usage, because in our universe we only have one kind of force or interest, I guess, and that's weight and uncertainty. So, yeah. So, they do not have either. Well, kind of complicated. Yellow static represents light, I guess, because it's the closest concept. But they don't have. They don't really have a liquid. So, this thing is powered by the mind, and it works because it doesn't look like it, so it fits, even though it's kind of cheating. But they have two substances, which I imagine represent the heavy and the light, and they have their mind as a sort of interface. So that's what we can work with, and I'm going to try to find a way to build a fan, like an electric fan, out of just this concept. So, yeah, so they use light, and 2 weights in the mine to produce a fan. This is a fan. You go like this. And I have nothing that I can show you that it works, but it does. Makes sense. It does release a cold air, just in the opposite direction of a normal fan. And you might get whipped in the face with it, that's why it's soft at the front. But yeah, it works. I would make a clock, but everyone knows how to make a clock. It's just a rock in the sun, a sundial. And if you wanted to do a timer, you would just light a candle and have it burn for an amount of time, and that would be a timer. Yeah. At night, rather than using the sun for the shadow, you actually build like a dome, and you position it so that a line or a measurement on that dome lines up with a star that's moving across the sky during the evening. And this tells you the time as it moves along the Earth's orbit. I would show how to make television, but I already kind of did in that other thing. It's just tarot cards and telling a story with the tarot cards or other cards. You could make several hundred cards, and the story would be different every time. And you could base it off of the weight of the number of the card, so that it's weight related. But I already kind of did that, so no TV this time. To advance the technology of just weight manipulation, you could make objects more likely to stand up straight and not fall over, simply because their weight is positioned at the bottom of them, where they're supposed to stand. And they'd be lighter on the top, so they'd be more level because all the weight is pushed to the bottom rather than the top, so they're less likely to tip. You could also do certain manipulation of how it falls from the sky, which is useful in both. The only way you could make a car without an electrical source, which is actually totally different, and I might do that. Or they could be useful for space travel because as you approach the planet, you can actually increase your speed of travel towards the planet by manipulating where the mass is in the spaceship. Because if a fluid or something is at the front of the spaceship and there's more of it, it'll get pulled in that direction more so than if it was at the back. And you could use light to keep track of the distance between, or the position and distance between it, so it's kind of relevant, but actually I think I might do that. It's not going to be a very successful example because I don't have any air balloons for the car, so it's going to be a balloon and a box, but I'll be back. Actually, something like this thing, would work well with that because it produces air, except it would have to be better made.
it's not hitting it, it's just moving because of the wind. The point of the parachute thing and the fan is that it's good for traveling through the air. Like the weight on this thing makes it fall in one direction more than the other. Not always, but it increases its chance of falling in that direction. And it would be better if I could throw it from a higher angle, but I can't. So, yeah, and the fan would increase the motion in one direction as well. And neither require a battery so much. But changing the weight on the object in its position changes how it falls and how it travels through the air because of gravity and its support. So it can be used to manipulate how something falls and in what direction. I just don't have anything to like remote control the change of the weight as it moves through the air. But at least in a static version, it is shown to be at least remotely possible. I need to find something more original that you can build with it. So I'll be back. This drawing is a whaling, which means I have no idea what it is. I'm just going to ascribe the different portions to it. So, no. That's this. Wait there. This yellow. And deep green. Deep blue. And then I just try to figure out what it does. So I'll be back because I can't see it. This detects new forces in the environment, which it then can use in interaction. It provides a way to unlock new elemental substances inside the world we are in. You basically just drop a marble on top of tarot cards, and whichever ones it lands on is the new substance. Alright, those three. Okay. That means we're going to use lights to develop some sort of meaning. Okay. Notice that this marble has what looks like a constellation on it, based off of the light around it. This is what we will use as a system of meaning mining or meaning developing. So the first thing we do is ask what it looks like, and it looks like a horse. Yep, looks like a horse. So we'll develop meaning based off horses now. We're going to create an artificial physics measuring tool for our elements in question, related to the basic ones that we have here, those four, and their relevant aspects here, since we added a meaning, and these in tandem create music, because the form, the weight, and the action, motion stuff creates a sound. Each one of these is related to one of these things, and we're going to build and advance a physics system for use in the universe we are currently residing in, if that makes sense.